Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And this is going to be somewhat of a short little episode that I kind of wanted to do to show you guys. I'm over at the entrance to Neck Forest right over there, and what we're going to do is actually go over to the East Common Tunnels. And the reason we're going to do that is I'm going to show you guys how to sell. For those of you who are brand new to EverQuest or coming over from a different server that may have had a different selling area, and there's a few that people have used on different servers on the old live servers, and basically this is one of them. East Commons is one, Greater Fadar is one, and North Freeport is one. Now, Freeport is actually just right around the corner. If you go down that direction over there, you'll go to Freeport. This is the East Common Tunnels, which is where everybody pretty much sells on this server on P99 Project 1999. If you go over to another one, you may go to Greater Fadar. I think they're all pretty good places. Now, North Freeport, I believe, was used primarily on PvP servers where you could get attacked and killed by other players, and they could take your stuff. And they would be able to pick one item, and they would also be able to loot all the coins on you. So selling was somewhat dangerous because if you had made any money, somebody would be able to take everything from you as far as money-wise, and be able to take that really, really good item that you might still be selling. And so it was kind of one of those things that you wanted to be near guards or someplace kind of safe. Now, you can see there's tons and tons of people here. A lot of these people are AFK. Some of them are selling their stuff, so they're semi-AFK. They may be at their job. This may be on a secondary computer in the background or something along those lines. But you'll see right here that they kind of all have a position. They don't like stack themselves up on top of one another. And they do that on purpose. They come over here to... Who's this guy? That's a cool looking sword. That is pretty cool. I like that. But yeah, they come over here and they pick a spot like they will say they're at the second torch. And so everybody over here in this region is at the second torch. You don't have to be standing directly underneath it to be considered at the second torch. Or you can say you're at the third torch, or that you're all the way down the hall at the camp. And depending on what race and what class the person is, if they're evil, they can come over here a whole lot easier than they can go to, say, Greater Fadar, because at Greater Fadar they have to worry about the good guards walking around that will aggro them. Now, if they're high level, it may not be that big a concern to them, but again, it is just a hassle that a lot of people don't want to deal with. And what you'll find is a lot of people who are selling here have what people refer to as mules, and what that basically is they will have gotten the big items, these big money deal items, off of their high level character, or maybe they play the game over here where they buy and sell. They try to buy it for a lower price, and then they try to sell it for a higher price, and they make a little bit of platinum that way. And before long, instead of buying like bone chips, a stack of bone chips for 10 platinum, they have slowly built up enough money to buy, a really good breastplate, and they sell that breastplate, and they make 200 platinum profit off of that, and then they buy something else with all their money, and they make 300 or 400 platinum, and it just keeps going up higher and higher. Before long, they have, several thousand platinum, and that's one way you can play the game. I know a lot of people don't really like doing that because they find, selling and buying kind of boring. And that's why you kind of need people like that, because what they will do is you will run over here and you'll be like, I'm selling this item. They don't even want that item, but they know what it's worth. And so they will give you, say, 200 or 300 platinum less than what it's worth. And if you're really in a big hurry, you will say, fine, I'll sell it. And then they will sit there, say, a week, 2 weeks, selling all their wares. And eventually they will sell it for full price or more than full price to somebody who's, in desperate need and needs it right then and there. And you're the only one selling it. And a lot of different factors, but if you're patient, you will eventually sell that item for around full price. And that's what they're doing. And basically, the way you know what they're selling, you see there's a lot of people over here just kind of hanging out. This used to be a good place for guilds to meet up before they teleported out to a certain place, because you could kind of meet up over here, you could get all buffed up, and then you could teleport out someplace, and nobody would have any clue where you're going. Everybody would put their non-tags on so people couldn't track their movements. And, as a guild, you got to remember that a lot of people will, compete over certain mobs at higher levels. So, yeah, I remember that back in the day, people being over here. But if you look down here in your little chat bar, you will see all the auctions going on. And it will tell you what the name of the person is, and then it will say auctions, and then a little comma, and then it will say what they're auctioning. So some people are auctioning wanting to buy, which is WTB, I want to buy. And then some of them are saying WTS, which means I want to sell. And then they list the stuff they want to sell. Now, they won't always put a price after it. If I was trying to hammer in one thing to you guys, it would be to always put a price down. I don't know how many times back in the day I'd be interested in buying an item, but I didn't want to sit there and ask them how much they were selling it for and then negotiate with them. I just wanted, I grew up in America, and a lot of the things over here are just set prices. You don't haggle with people. I know a lot of people in other countries, they love doing that, and it probably saves them more money in the long run than we're able to do over here. But when I go in and I buy a T-shirt and it says $12 on it, or it says $3 on it, or whatever the price is, that's the price I prefer to get. And so I like to have a price next to each one of these things. Some people don't do that. They do OBO, which is or best offer, and so you have to make them an offer. And then, of course, you have to know what that item is worth. And a lot of the times you don't. And you can go up and look it up on Wiki, and Wiki is pretty good about giving you current prices for the most part. Or you can do an OOC, ask people, and usually somebody in this zone will have a pretty good idea of what that price or what that item is worth. And then you can decide what you want to offer for it, depending on how much you want that item at that given time. But you'll see all these little links down here, these little pink little text. And if you click on them with your mouse, it will pop up the item, and then you can see what that item is. I highly suggest that you do that and not just look at the name and be like, oh, okay, that's the right name. Like the funky tunic, and there's a funky robe. And depending on which one you want, I believe only one of them has regeneration. And so if you're just going by like names, you can get kind of confused because some of these do have very, very close names to other items that are kind of the same, but just slightly different, that it's not the one you're looking for. And you don't want to pay prices for one item that you're not really looking for the version that is kind of suckier and not even worth, a fraction of what that other one is worth. And people have done that in the past. Another thing you want to make sure before you buy anything is look at the class and look at the race. I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he bought a really, really good item for his character before he realized that it was the class that he was, but it wasn't the race. And so he just spent, like 800-900 platinum on buying an item, and now he can't use it, even though it's the same class as him. Even though it's so that anybody of his class can use that, unless they're not listed on the race, and that's exactly what it was for him. So just double check. I'm sure that you've done your homework and you already know what items you need. You've talked to your friends and they've told you, oh, this would be a good item for you, or this would be a good item for you. But just double check, because you just never know for sure, and you want to make sure, because he can sell that item, but he's going to have to sit there and do it, and that's just extra time that a lot of people don't have. And so you'll see down here on the bottom that, okay, this guy's selling these hides right here for 25 platinum a piece. Now, what do you do when you want to buy that? Well, you send him a tell. You send, and this one it's Brock, BRROKK, if you want to buy that from him. So you'd send him a tell and say, hey, I'd like to purchase that item, and where are you? Like, where do I go? And he'll tell you what his location is, and he'll tell you if he has any of more of them in stock, because he may be spamming that key, and the moment he spams that key, gets hit by 5 or 6 people's tells at the exact same time, and you're the 5th person, and the other 4 have already bought the 4 items that he had, or at least send a message saying they're interested in it, and usually first come, first serve. Now, if you have a lot of people asking for the item, some of these people in here will jack their price up. Like they list down there, oh, it's only 700 platinum. But if they get 3 people who say I'll buy it, they'll let you know, well, there's 2 other people who are interested in it, so if you can pay more than they can, you'll get it. I don't like doing that. I think, again, that's like shifty, and you never know if they're telling the truth. And a lot of the time, if you do that and you're not telling the truth, you'll find that people will just tell you what to go do with yourself, and go buy it from somebody else who isn't, changing the prices on them. But yeah, it's really up to you on what kind of salesman you can be. It's almost like real life, that you get to put your personality into your character on how you sell and where you sell, and what kind of prices you have, and what things you specialize in. A lot of these people over here may be certain trade skills, and if they are, you'll find out relatively quickly, because some people will like park their character over here every night, and you can leave them a message. Like, they have you can do /AFK and then space, and you can type out a message, And when somebody sends you a tell, they will get that message in reply saying, sorry, this guy's AFK, and then it will say your message saying, went to the bathroom, be right back, or I'm sleeping for the night, but leave a message, and I will make sure to message you or make the stuff for you, and then be on tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or something along those lines. And so if you do that, you'll find somebody who's a really good baker or something like that, or just he makes a lot of backpacks and he's always on at like 5, and you can leave him a message and say, hey, you're not on right now, but or your character's on but you're not, I would like to have 4 or 5 backpacks pre-made for me. And the way he'll do that is, again, you can make a chat bar and you can say just have tells go there, and unless you're getting hit up by thousands upon thousands of tells, it's still going to be there when you wake up in the morning. So not really that big of a deal, but that's how some people do this. And yeah, it's just a really cool place to kind of hang out. You'll see that occasionally I get a little bit of lag while being over here, and that's just because there's so many people here. But this is really not even that many people compared to what you may see during the weekend. Yeah, usually you'll find more people here on the weekend. And this warrior right here actually has his epics. Now that epic is pretty cool because it can change into 2 weapons, or it can be used as a two-handed weapon. And yeah, it's one of those. It's one of the only ones really of the epics that have such an illusion on them. A lot of the other ones have like a little glowing thing on it, but it's very small and it's very hard to see. This one stands out completely. You can see that from far away. Like if I come over here, you'll see this is the cleric epic right here. This is the sprinkler of whatever the name of that one was, and it's fairly hard to get. You can kind of see that it has the little effect coming off the front of it, the little ball right there. It's almost like a little purple haze that kind of comes off, but it's very, very hard to see. You can't really see it all that well, and it's nowhere near as pronounced as that one. And again, you can look over here. This guy, I think this is the two-handed warrior, actually. I think that's what he's wearing. This is the two-handed version of the same sword, the same exact weapon. He just combines the two together whenever he feels like it, and you'll get those. And for those of you who've seen some of my other videos, you may have seen ZK with his epic, Shaman epic, and you'll notice that it does have an illusion on it as well, but nowhere near as I won't say it's nice. It's very cool looking for the warrior one, but they're all nice in their own regards. But I think that's the Paladin's Soulfire weapon right there, actually. And that one's not so much an epic as it is just a decent quest to do. It's kind of hard, and you got to know where to go, and it's a pretty good weapon to get. So, but yeah, this is where we're going to go ahead and end the video, guys. I want to thank you for watching. If you do enjoy these videos, please hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you have any questions, if I left anything out about buying stuff from people, make sure to leave that down in the comments. Again, when you buy something from somebody, they're going to trade it to you in a trade window. You're going to go into your inventory real quick to show you that, and you'll drag an item and click on them, and when you do that, it will open up the little trade window, and in the trade window they will put the item. You want to double check that is the item that you are supposed to be buying. You don't want to just assume it is because it looks like a steel breastplate, and when you buy it and you find out that it's actually something crappy, he'll put that on his side, you'll put your money on your side, and when both parties agree, you can hit the accept button on yours and he'll hit the accept button on his, and then the items will be traded automatically that way. But yeah, you definitely want to double check because some people are not as trustworthy as you may like. There's people out there who take advantage of people all the time, and so yeah, just be very, very careful. But don't go into it assuming that people are trying to take advantage of you, because there's a lot of nice people on the server, and I've been given tons and tons of free stuff just for walking around. So yeah, I definitely give a shout out to everybody on the server. Great, great people. But again, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.